If you've ever found yourself anxiously waiting for someone to reply to your text or message, you're not alone. We've all been there, wondering if they'll ever respond or why they haven't yet. Today, we're going to uncover the secret to making someone reply to you instantly, without begging, without desperation, and without overthinking. Imagine how empowering it would feel to send that one message that immediately gets a reply. By the end of this video, you'll understand the psychology behind communication, and you'll have the tools to craft messages that prompt a response every single time. So let's dive in. 1. The psychology of communication. Communication is an intricate art, and understanding its psychological underpinnings can dramatically improve how we interact with others. At its core, communication is not just about transmitting information, but about establishing connection, understanding, and trust. The psychology behind communication reveals that the way we communicate deeply influences how others perceive and respond to us. One of the key psychological principles in communication is the concept of reciprocity. People are more likely to respond favorably to messages that feel reciprocal, meaning they offer something in return. This could be attention, respect, or empathy, whatever makes the other person feel acknowledged and valued. In terms of human behavior, this taps into the concept of social exchange theory, where interactions are seen as transactions, and we're constantly weighing the costs and benefits of our engagements with others. If a conversation feels one-sided, if we're perceived as simply taking without offering anything in return, the other party will be less inclined to respond. Understanding the psychology of empathy also plays a pivotal role. People respond positively when they feel understood. If you can communicate in a way that mirrors the emotions or experiences of the other person, they are far more likely to engage with you. It's about signaling to the other person that you not only hear them but truly understand their perspective. For instance, acknowledging their feelings or concerns can significantly increase the chances of a response. This is a powerful tool in both personal and professional communication, and it can create a sense of emotional connection, making your message far more compelling. Another psychological principle is the liking effect. Humans are more inclined to engage with people they like or feel a sense of affinity toward. This is where building rapport becomes essential. Simple strategies such as finding common ground, mirroring body language, or showing genuine interest can trigger the liking bias, leading to more favorable responses. Additionally, social proof plays a role in communication. If someone else responds positively to your message, others are more likely to do the same. This is why testimonials, social media likes, or peer validation can be so powerful in influencing behavior. In a world full of distractions and competing stimuli, brevity and clarity are psychological factors that cannot be overlooked. Our brains are wired to pay attention to messages that are clear, concise, and to the point. Overloading someone with unnecessary information can lead to disengagement. So when you're crafting a message, whether for a text, email, or conversation, it's crucial to think about how to present your ideas in a way that is easy for the recipient to digest. The more simple and direct your communication is, the more likely it is to get noticed and elicit a response. The psychology of communication also emphasizes the importance of timing. The way we communicate is often shaped by when we choose to do so. People are more likely to respond to messages when they're in a good emotional state or when they feel ready to engage. Understanding the psychological state of the person you're trying to communicate with, whether they are stressed, busy, or in a relaxed mood, can significantly impact how your message is received. The best time to reach out is when the other person is open to interaction, which often requires you to gauge their mood and timing. Lastly, Reciprocal self-disclosure is a powerful psychological tool. Sharing something personal or revealing can create a sense of trust and openness. It encourages the other person to open up in return, leading to deeper conversations and more meaningful connections. However, it's important to balance this appropriately. Too much self-disclosure too soon can overwhelm the other person, while too little can make the conversation feel shallow. By understanding these psychological principles, we can communicate more effectively, improving our chances of eliciting responses, building deeper relationships, and fostering genuine connections. Whether you're sending a message, initiating a conversation, or trying to get someone to respond, keeping these psychological factors in mind will enhance the way you communicate and make your messages more impactful. 2. The power of curiosity. In today's world of constant connectivity, communication plays a central role in shaping our relationships, both personal and professional. But have you ever wondered why some people always seem to get responses right away, while others are left waiting for hours or even days for a reply? The secret doesn't lie in the number of words we use, but rather in the psychology behind how we communicate. Communication is not just about what we say, it's about how we make the other person feel, how we trigger the right emotional responses, and how we ensure our message resonates with them. The truth is, the way we frame our messages can have a profound impact on whether or not we get the response we desire. One of the key psychological principles at play is the concept of reciprocity, the human tendency to respond positively when we feel that our own needs or desires are met. If you want to make someone reply instantly, the key is to appeal to their emotions, acknowledge their perspective, and align your message with what they value most. For instance, using language that makes the other person feel important, respected, or understood is far more effective than using generic or transactional language. In fact, people are more likely to respond quickly when they feel that their input is meaningful or that the communication benefits them in some way. Another psychological principle that plays a role in communication is the idea of social validation. Humans are wired to respond to messages that align with what they already believe or perceive about themselves. For example, if you frame your message in a way that confirms their beliefs, validates their feelings, or reflects their identity, you're more likely to get an immediate response. This is why compliments or expressions of gratitude, when sincere, often generate a faster and more positive reply. People naturally like to feel seen and appreciated, and when you communicate in a way that acknowledges their importance or reinforces their sense of self, they feel compelled to reciprocate by responding. Moreover, the tone and delivery of your message can either encourage or hinder communication. The use of positive, upbeat language can create a sense of warmth and openness, while a negative or demanding tone can create resistance and cause the other person to withdraw. The psychology behind this is rooted in the principle of emotional contagion, the idea that emotions are contagious and can be transferred through communication. If you exude confidence, positivity, and respect, the other person is more likely to feel the same way, making them more inclined to reply. The concept of timing also plays a huge role in the psychology of communication. Humans are naturally more responsive when they perceive that the message is urgent or relevant to them at that moment. Crafting a message that conveys a sense of urgency without sounding desperate is an art in itself. By highlighting the importance of timely action or presenting an opportunity that aligns with their current needs or interests, you increase the likelihood of a quick response. For example, framing your message in a way that suggests there's a limited window of opportunity, whether it's an offer, a favor, or an important piece of information, can motivate the other person to reply immediately, as they feel a sense of FOMO, fear of missing out. This psychological trigger taps into their innate desire to seize opportunities and avoid regret. Additionally, human behavior is often driven by the principle of consistency. People have a natural desire to be consistent with their past actions or commitments. If you've had a conversation with someone before and they've shown interest or agreed to something, referencing that prior interaction can make them feel compelled to follow through. Subtly reminding them of what you've discussed or the commitment they've made to you can serve as a nudge for them to respond promptly. It's a gentle psychological cue that says, "Hey, remember when we talked about this? Let's keep the momentum going." But perhaps one of the most powerful psychological triggers in communication is the principle of scarcity. When we feel that something is scarce or in limited supply, we become more motivated to act quickly. This principle plays out every time we see a limited time offer or only a few spots left in marketing. In communication, you can use this by offering something unique or scarce, whether it's your time, your insight, or an opportunity, and framing your message around the idea that it's available for a short time. People respond faster when they feel that the chance to engage with you or act on something is slipping away, and that urgency drives immediate action. Finally, one of the most important psychological aspects of communication is empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. When you truly understand the other person's emotional state, motivations, and needs, you can tailor your message in a way that resonates with them on a deeper level. Empathetic communication doesn't just convey information, it conveys understanding, connection, and genuine care. By showing that you understand the other person's concerns, desires, and emotions, you create a safe space for them to respond openly and honestly. Empathy is the key to building rapport, trust, and a sense of connection, all of which lead to more immediate responses. In conclusion, the psychology of communication isn't just about words. It's about the emotions, perceptions, and cognitive triggers that drive human behavior. If you want to make someone reply instantly, you need to communicate in a way that aligns with their emotional needs, respects their perspective, and appeals to their intrinsic motivations. Whether you're appealing to their sense of reciprocity, validating their feelings, creating urgency, or simply showing empathy, understanding the psychology behind effective communication is the key to unlocking faster, more meaningful responses. So next time you reach out to someone, think about what you can do to make your message irresistible and compelling, not just in content, but in how it makes them feel. The power to spark an immediate response is in your hands, and it starts with understanding the psychological drivers of human behavior. 3. Be direct, but not pushy. In today's fast-paced digital world, communication has become faster, but also more impersonal and filled with uncertainty. Whether you're trying to reconnect with someone, get a response from a potential client, or reignite a relationship, one thing is clear: begging for a reply is never the right approach. The key to getting a quick response is being direct, but not pushy. When you approach someone with clarity and confidence, without overwhelming them with desperation or over-explanation, you'll find that they're much more likely to engage with you. Being direct means getting straight to the point and expressing what you want clearly and respectfully. People are busy and don't have time to sift through long-winded messages to understand your intent. So, instead of crafting lengthy, needy text or trying to sound overly impressive, simply state your request or purpose with authenticity. When you are clear about your intention, it removes the ambiguity, and the person on the other end doesn't have to wonder what you're really after. However, it's important to balance that directness with empathy. You want to convey your message without sounding demanding, pushy, or entitled. The fine line here is crucial. Now, being direct doesn't mean being aggressive or impatient. It's about respecting their space while still being upfront. No one likes feeling pressured into responding immediately or being chased down with endless follow-ups. When you're too persistent, it often leads to frustration and ultimately avoidance. To avoid this, keep your message brief, respectful, and considerate of the other person's time. A good example of this could be something like, "Hey, I was hoping we could catch up this weekend. Let me know what works for you." It's short, respectful, and it gives them the opportunity to reply without feeling cornered. At the same time, it lets them know you're interested in hearing from them without any hidden motives. Being direct also involves respecting boundaries. If someone doesn't respond immediately, give them space. Avoid flooding them with messages or trying to come up with new ways to get their attention. The best way to ensure a response is to have faith in the message you've sent. If they're interested, they will get back to you. If not, you'll know that your directness wasn't the issue, and it's time to move on gracefully. The more you practice this approach, the more confident you'll feel in your interactions. It removes the need for games, manipulation, and second-guessing. The goal isn't to chase after their reply, but to communicate in a way that makes it easy and natural for them to respond. So remember, the key is being confident and clear, but not overbearing. Being direct helps cut through the noise and lets others know that you value their time and attention. When you do this, not only will you receive quicker responses, but you'll also show that you respect both yourself and the person you're communicating with. That respect for each other's time and boundaries is the foundation for meaningful and successful interactions, whether in personal relationships or professional ones. By mastering this art of being direct without being pushy, you'll create a space where people feel compelled to respond, not because they have to, but because they want to. 4. Give them a reason to respond. In today's fast-paced digital world, one of the most frustrating experiences can be waiting for someone to respond to your message. Whether it's a potential partner, a friend, or even a professional connection, silence can leave us feeling uncertain or rejected. But what if the solution to this problem was as simple as giving them a reason to respond? Instead of sending a generic, "Hey, how are you?" or just asking for a reply, a more effective approach is rooted in giving them something valuable to engage with. A message that sparks curiosity, appeals to their interests, or even makes them feel special is far more likely to prompt a response. The key here is not to beg or chase after their attention, but to understand what drives them to engage and use that insight to craft a message that they can't resist replying to. Start by thinking about the person you're messaging. What do you know about them? What do they enjoy talking about? Is there something you can say that will resonate with their passions, interests, or current life situation? If you can tap into their emotions or interests, your message becomes more than just a request for attention. It becomes an opportunity for connection. For instance, instead of simply texting, "Hey, what's up?" try referencing something specific that relates to their world, like, "I remember you mentioned loving that new movie. I just saw it and thought of you. What did you think of it?" This approach not only gives them something specific to respond to, but it shows that you've paid attention and are interested in their thoughts and experiences. Moreover, a well-crafted message can also tap into the concept of reciprocity, the human tendency to return a favor. When you provide something of value or share an interesting thought, you're making it easier for them to respond without feeling the pressure of having to come up with something on the spot. For example, sharing an interesting article or a funny story that relates to something they've discussed with you shows that you value their time and input, and it makes it easier for them to reply with their own thoughts. Rather than just asking for a response, You're opening the door for a conversation where they feel comfortable and encouraged to engage. Additionally, framing your message in a positive, confident manner plays a crucial role. Nobody likes to feel pressured or manipulated into responding. Phrases that convey respect for their time, like "when you get a chance" or "I'd love to hear your thoughts when you have a moment," make the request feel less demanding and more like an invitation. People are much more likely to respond when they don't feel like they're being put on the spot or expected to immediately jump into a conversation. So, while it's important to provide a reason for them to reply, it's equally crucial to ensure the tone of your message remains light, respectful, and not overly insistent. Another key strategy is timing. The best time to send a message is when they're likely to be receptive. Think about their routine. Are they likely to be free during certain hours? Avoid texting at odd times when they might be busy or uninterested. Sending a message at a time when they are most likely to engage with it will increase your chances of getting a reply. For example, sending a message during a lunch break or after work hours when they have downtime might be more effective than sending one in the middle of their busy day. Lastly, it's important to remember that not every message needs to be a grand gesture. Sometimes, simplicity works best. A short, thoughtful message that invites curiosity, like "I found something I think you'd really love," or "this reminded me of a conversation we had," gives the recipient a reason to engage without overwhelming them with a long-winded message. The goal is to keep it light, respectful, and open-ended, leaving space for them to respond comfortably and at their own pace. In conclusion, the art of sending a message that compels a response lies in giving the recipient a reason to engage. By focusing on their interests, being considerate of their time, and approaching the message with respect and positivity, you can create an environment where they feel inclined to reply. When you stop begging for attention and instead offer something of value in your messages, you make it easier for them to respond and, in turn, create a stronger, more meaningful connection. So, next time you're crafting a message, think about what you can give them, not just what you want from them. When you master this, you'll no longer have to beg for a reply. It'll come naturally. 5. Keep it light and playful. When it comes to communication, especially when trying to get someone's attention or prompt a response, one of the most effective approaches is to keep it light and playful. This may sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Why? Because people, by nature, are drawn to positive, fun energy. When you approach a conversation with a sense of humor or playfulness, you create an inviting atmosphere. It's important to remember that no one wants to feel pressured or like they're being chased in a conversation. When you approach someone with a sense of ease, you're allowing them to relax and engage without feeling overwhelmed or cornered. A key aspect of keeping it light is avoiding overly serious or intense tones, especially in the early stages of a conversation. Instead of sending long, heavy messages that sound like you're trying to get something from the other person, why not send a playful, unexpected comment or ask a fun question? For instance, imagine sending a simple text like, "Quick question, if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?" This is important stuff. It's light, it's fun, and it immediately sparks curiosity. There's no pressure. It's just a playful way to engage and make them want to respond. The beauty of this approach is that it keeps the conversation flowing effortlessly. You're not putting all your emotional weight on their response or making it feel like a high-stakes conversation. Instead, you're setting a tone of easygoing fun, which makes the interaction feel like a game, something both you and the other person can enjoy. It's almost like creating a little inside joke with someone where the seriousness doesn't matter. By keeping things playful, you're also giving the other person the freedom to be themselves without worrying about expectations or pressure. People appreciate feeling like they can just be themselves without the burden of having to match a certain emotional tone or respond in a specific way. Playfulness lets them know that this interaction is about having fun, not about performing or meeting some arbitrary standard. And when people feel comfortable being themselves, they're far more likely to open up and engage with you. Also, don't be afraid to inject a little humor. Humor is one of the most powerful tools in building rapport and getting responses. A well-timed joke or playful banter can go a long way in breaking the ice and making someone feel like you're someone worth talking to. Even if the person is busy or might be unsure about replying, a playful message is more likely to stand out in their mind and prompt them to respond. It shows them that you're not looking for anything too serious or heavy, but just a fun, light interaction. And here's the secret. By being playful, you're not only making it easier for them to respond, but you're also giving yourself an edge in terms of standing out. In a world where everyone is constantly messaging, trying to get attention, and sometimes being overly intense or pushy, someone who keeps it light and playful is a breath of fresh air. It's a much more attractive and engaging energy, and people are more likely to respond to you when you make them feel good rather than stressed. Finally, keeping things light and playful doesn't mean you're being disingenuous or immature. Far from it. It's about balancing your emotions and creating a dynamic where both you and the other person can relax and enjoy the interaction. It's about not taking things too seriously and understanding that connections often happen in the most unexpected, light-hearted ways. When you approach someone with a playful attitude, you're not forcing them to engage, but rather inviting them into a space where it's easy for them to respond, get involved, and enjoy the conversation. So, if you want to make someone reply instantly and keep the conversation flowing without feeling like you're begging for a response, remember this: keep it light, keep it playful, and most importantly, keep it fun. 6. Timing matters. Timing is another critical factor in getting someone to respond. When you send your message at the right time, you significantly increase the chances of a prompt reply. Sending a message too early in the morning or too late at night can make it easy for the person to ignore or put off replying. Ideally, aim for times when people are likely to be free and relaxed, like midday or early evening. If you know the person's schedule, even better. Tailor your timing accordingly. Send a message when they're likely to be in a receptive mood, and avoid bombarding them during busy moments. 7. Use the 3 formula. Now, here's a formula to make your message more impactful. The 3-2-1 formula. This is a simple yet highly effective approach that combines curiosity, directness, and the promise of something valuable in just 3 sentences. Start with something intriguing. Open with a statement or question that sparks curiosity but doesn't give everything away. Give a little context. Follow up with a sentence that provides a bit of insight or background, making it more personal and relevant to the person you're reaching out to. End with a direct call to action. Finish with a question or invitation that is clear and easy to respond to without overwhelming the other person. For example, I came across something interesting today. It totally reminded me of our last conversation about topic. What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. This formula makes your message concise, intriguing, and easy to reply to. 8. Avoid desperation at all costs. Finally, let's talk about what not to do. Desperation is a major turn-off in any form of communication. If your message feels needy or comes across as begging for attention, you're more likely to get ignored than to get a response. Phrases like, "Please reply," or "I really need you to talk to me," can immediately make the other person feel pressured, which may lead them to pull away even more. Instead, stay calm, confident, and relaxed in your communication. If you approach the conversation with self-assurance, the other person will pick up on it and be more likely to engage. The one message that will make them reply instantly is one that taps into the natural curiosity of human beings, maintains a tone of respect and lightheartedness, and gives the person a reason to respond. By being clear, direct, and considerate in your approach, you'll increase your chances of receiving a prompt reply without the need for begging. Remember, communication is a two-way street, but the message you send plays a big role in how the conversation unfolds. Craft your messages thoughtfully, stay confident, and don't be afraid to express yourself in a way that invites connection. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on communication and personal growth. Now go ahead and send that message with confidence. You're ready to make an instant impact.